Hello there and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about The War Within Season 3 and everything that you need to know about this brand new season coming to the game with patch 11.2 Ghosts of Koresh. We're going to go through all of the new updates and changes and all the new rewards and everything like that in this video. But before we jump into that, guys, I want to give a massive thank you to the sponsor of this video, and that is Manta Sleep. This video is sponsored by Manta Sleep. The days are longer, the sun is brighter, and while all that extra daylight can feel energizing, it can be quite sabotaging to your sleep. Later sunsets disrupt your body's natural circadian rhythm, making it harder to fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up feeling refreshed. And that's where Manta Sleep comes in. Whether you're blocking out daylight or tuning out the sounds of summer nights, taking control of your sleep environment helps you get a deep, restorative rest no matter how long the sun stays up. Manta Sleep sent me the Manta Sound Sleep Mask with razor-thin Bluetooth headphones and 20 hours of battery life. And it is a true 100% blackout with no eye pressure. I actually can't see a thing right now. So click the link in the description or use code MrGM at checkout to get 10% off Manta Sleep. And thanks again for Manta Sleep for sponsoring this video. Alright, so yes, patch 11.2 might be already out by the time you watch this video, or very close to releasing. The release date of this patch is August 5th in the NA region and August 6th in the EU. Now this time around, they're actually doing a bit of a different launch, where they're launching some stuff for Season 3 on patch day, and then other stuff on the actual Season 3 launch day 1 week later on August 12th and August 13th. On patch day, you're actually going to have access to some of the Season 3 dungeons on Normal, Heroic, and Mythic 0. You're also going to have the new world boss spawning in Koresh, as well as delves being available in all tiers, but there won't be any bountiful delves. You're also actually going to start getting credit towards the Great Vault on week 1, which is actually a huge change. So you could pretty much guarantee some hero track loot for the first week of the season, which starts on August 12th in the NA region and August 13th. On this week, obviously, the Raid Manaforge Omega will launch on Normal, Heroic, and Raid Finder Wing 1. This will also be the beginning of Mythic Plus Season 3, as well as Tazavesh being available on hard mode. More about that in a bit. This is also going to be the official start of Season 3 of PvP, as well as Delves getting more updates with the Delver's Journey beginning, Bountiful Delves spawning, restored coffer keys being obtainable, and the new challenge boss and updates to Bran. And this will also be the first week where you can actually open your Great Vault. So a little bit of a change in regards to release dates, but it definitely seems really great that you can actually start your gearing path on week 1 of the patch. Moving on into current season, Season 3, Valor Stones will continue to exist. However, they're not going to be reset at the start of the season. So if you've capped out on Valor Stones, they will remain capped out. However, they will no longer be transferable as of patch day. So you won't be able to transfer them between your characters like you can right now at the end of Season 2. Of course, we are going to get some new crests in Season 3. It doesn't seem like the caps are any different. The new names for these crests are Weathered Ethereal Crest, Carved Ethereal Crest, Runed Ethereal Crest, and Gilded Ethereal Crest. So no major changes there, just adding the word ethereal on the crest names. And with delves at the start of the season, all your restored coffer keys and undercoin will be wiped, and there'll be a fresh start with those at the start of the season. Moving on into dungeons. So at the start of the patch, Follower, Normal, Heroic, Mythic, and Time Walking will all have their loot tables updated to the Season 3 item levels. Of course, 1 week later, on August 12th or 13th, we will get the new Mythic Plus season with our new Mythic Plus dungeon rotation. So this includes Ecodome Aldani, which is the brand new dungeon of 11.2. We'll have the Halls of Atonement from Shadowlands, Tazavesh Streets of Wonder from Shadowlands, Tazavesh Solia's Gambit from Shadowlands, and then from The War Within, we'll have Arakara City of Echoes, The Dawnbreaker, Priory of the Sacred Flame, and Operation Floodgate returning in Season 3. So yeah, 8 dungeons in total for Season 3. Big shout out to my friend BB Mezzi for providing the footage for this section. He actually does quick start guides for all of the new dungeons, so if you want to check that out, I'll leave a playlist down below. They're very good videos. The Keystone Master mount in Season 3 is the Azure Void Flyer, which is an awesome new model from Koresh in kind of a voidy color, and Keystone Legend will once again reward a mount, with the Scarlet Void Flyer being the mount for achieving that score. There's also some updates coming to Mythic Plus as a system, one of these being the ability to abandon a Mythic Plus key through a voting system. So as of Season 3, players can now vote to abandon a Mythic Plus key after the run has started. There's also a new feature for marked players, so players who leave the run before the completion, the timer's end, or a successful vote will actually be marked as a Keystone Deserter in the pre-made Dungeon Finder. Now, these players can remove their mark if they successfully complete a Mythic Plus run, even if it's untimed. So basically, if you leave, you get marked. If you do another key, you'll get that mark removed. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that works in practice. The other thing with dungeons in Season 3 is that Tazavesh is returning as a Mega Dungeon. So once you enter it on Mythic 0 difficulty, this will operate as a regular Mega Dungeon. This will actually count as a Mythic plus 10 on your Great Vault, so it's definitely worth doing that. And the bosses actually have a chance to drop hero track loot. Obviously, you can do this once a week. And completing this Mega Dungeon will also grant you 30 Gilded Crests. Now, it did say in the notes that it says an additional weekly reward is available for players who are able to defeat all the bosses in the Mega Dungeon without anyone in the party dying. So not too sure what that reward is, but essentially, yeah, you want to be doing this weekly for the Gilded Crest and the chance at hero track loot. This will be hard mode as well, so it isn't going to be a walk in the park, but could be worth it for some gearing. Moving on into raid. Yes, we have a new raid for Season 3. This raid is called Mana Forge Omega, and this is an 8-boss raid. So the release schedule for this raid is that it launches on August 12th or 13th, depending on your region, in normal, heroic, and mythic, with Raid Finder Wing 1 releasing. 1 week later, we will get Raid Finder Wing 2 and Story Mode, obviously being able to experience the last boss through kind of a solo experience. And then 1 week after that, we have Raid Finder Wing 3. As mentioned, this is an 8-boss raid. However, one of the bosses is actually optional. The 5th boss, the Soul Hunters, is actually an optional boss. However, the loot is pretty much not optional, so you probably will end up doing this. The last boss in this raid is Dimensius the All-Devouring, which has been said to be the biggest boss they've ever made. Now, this was not tested on the PTR, of course, like they haven't in the past, so yeah, very interested to see how this fight goes down. It looks extremely intense, according to the Dungeon Journal. Like with any raid, we are getting class tier sets, and these will be themed on the classes as opposed to the raid theme. These sets will also feature set bonuses that align with your hero talents instead of your class or specializations. So yeah, a little bit different there on the class set bonuses, but the appearances for these sets are very good. Of course, available in all the different colorations for the different difficulties. There are a couple mounts for this raid. For completing the Glory of the Omega Raider achievement, you get the Umbral Karok, which is a dark version of the new Karok model, which is coming in 11.2. For achieving ahead of the curve, you actually get a new mount called the Royal Voidwing, which is a similar model to the previous Voidwing mount, but with a crown. And Mythic Dimensius will drop a new mount called the Unbound Star Eater, which is one of my favorite mounts I've ever made, which uses a very similar model to the Nether Drakes. So 3 mounts available from the raid, but there is also more mounts available from the brand new Raid Renown. The new Raid Renown is called the Manaforge Vandals. This time around, it is only 15 levels of renown, but you'd imagine the acquisition will probably be very similar to how it was in the Liberation of Undermine. Very similar to the Liberation of Undermine renown track, this renown just adds different vendors and utilities to actually outside the raid this time, not inside the raid, so that's nice. And also like buffs to your characters to make the raid kind of a soft nerf over time. It also does feature a couple of new mount rewards as well, so you definitely want to be leveling that up, and it is only 15 levels, which isn't as daunting as the previous Raid Renown. Moving on into Delves. Yes, we have a new season of Delves. Now, as mentioned earlier, you do have kind of a seasonal soft launch with Delves, with all Delve tiers being available. You will need to re-unlock these though, so you will have to go through each tier of Delves to unlock it all the way up to tier 11. Now, Bountiful Delves will start 1 week later on August 12th or 13th, so you won't be able to get any of the Bountiful loot, but it is definitely worth kind of maxing out your Great Vault with tier 8 to 11 Delves, because you will get a guaranteed hero track piece in your Great Vault on week 1 of the season. Speaking of the start of the season on August 12th, you will also start getting new levels for Bran. Bran's new level cap and probably final level cap will be level 100 in Season 3, and you'll also get some new curios, as your curios will be wiped, and we are going to get some new Season 3 curios dropping at the start of the season. As you'd expect, all the Delve loot will be upgraded to Season 3 levels. Doesn't seem like there's any major changes in the type of gear that's obtained through each level. Champion will still be your highest drop piece from tier 8 and above, and the Gilded Crest will still be available 3 times a week. But yeah, this is just going to be the kind of regular amounts, not the supercharged amounts that are at the end of Season 2. We'll also get a new Delver's Journey at the start of the season. Pretty much what you expect from a Delver's Journey, with different customizations for your new mount, but there is some changes here. So you do have the bounty maps. So the bounty maps will actually only start dropping once you reach the 2nd level of the Delver's Journey, and these will continue to drop hero track loot, but just once a week, as it does right now. And also on the third level of the Delver's Journey is a new way to obtain Delve trinkets. So this was discovered by Lazy on Twitter. So basically at the end of a tier 9 Delve, a new vendor will spawn and will be selling trinkets from Delves at champion level for 2,000 undercoin each. Now these rotate daily, it seems, which is pretty interesting and controversial, but we'll see if that stays for the start of the season. So yeah, once you reach that third level of the Devil's Journey, you can get some bad luck protection in regards to Delve trinkets, which is kind of nice, actually. I kind of alluded to it a second ago, but yes, we are getting a new Delve mount in Season 3. At the start of Season 3, you'll get the Delver's Mana Skimmer. This is the same model as the previous Delve mounts. However, you do have some new customizations, which are kind of ethereal and arcane themed, which are pretty cool for the most part. And as well, on the start of Season 3 on August 12th and 13th, we will get our new Delve Nemesis. This season is going to be Nexus Princess Kaiveza from the Nurabar Palace. Now, this was not tested publicly on the PTR, but will have 2 difficulties. The reward for defeating it on the regular difficulty is a new toy called the Etheric Victory Toy. This says that it emanates the aura of victory. This lasts 30 minutes with a 1-hour cooldown and is just a awesome toy which does a very, very cool animation. So very much looking forward to obtaining that. And then on the hardest difficulty, you will get a new Void skin for the new Delver's mount. So yeah, some pretty great updates to Delves coming in Season 3. Moving on into world content updates in Season 3. So these are presumably happening at the start of the patch instead of the start of the season, which is great. So world activities are getting their loot tables upgraded for Season 3. This includes Kaz Algar world quests, including Undermine. So Undermine is getting an update in regards to different loot rewards and crests to accommodate Season 3. Activities like the Theater Troops, Spreading the Light, Waking the Machine will all get their loot tables upgraded, as well as the new Nightfall event. However, the gear is being changed from Season 2 Champion to Season 3 Adventurer. Beyond the regular world content you can expect in Koresh, in Season 3, you will also have a new world boss in Koresh called Rashanor the Untethered, and this looks like it will be dropping Warbound Champion loot for world content players. Next up, let's talk about professions. So there is a new spark in Season 3. This is called the Spark of Starlight. Blizzard have said that during the first week of the patch, players can actually obtain a full spark in the first week of the patch, which is great. And then 1 week later, you'll start obtaining just half a spark a week, kind of how it was previously. But that's really cool. Beyond that, there doesn't seem like there's any other major changes to professions. The only other one is that there is a new currency. However, this is more of a visual currency. This is not something you spend. This is simply just a visual way for you to check how your spark progression is for the season on that specific character. So it'll let you know the seasonal caps, and it'll let you know how many sparks you've obtained so far, which is actually really nice. But yeah, the actual spark system itself will continue to exist, but you will have a new Spark of Starlight. And finally, let's talk about PvP. Yes, PvP is getting some updates at the start of Season 3, with Koresh having a new PvP island with a world quest, so that's kind of their PvP content in Koresh. You will also expect new aspirant sets using a recolor of the questing sets from Koresh, and new gladiator and elite sets using the same models as the raid sets, as we've come to expect. In Season 3 of The War Within, you will get some new Vicious mounts. You have the Vicious Void Creeper coming in purple for the Alliance and in orange for the Horde. And for Gladiators, you will have the new Astral Gladiators Fellbat, which is a Fellbat mount in more of a voidy themed appearance, which looks pretty cool. This was changed pretty late in PTR due to feedback. So yeah, those are your PvP updates for Season 3. There you go, guys. That is everything coming in Season 3 of The War Within. I know it gets a little bit confusing with the dates because some stuff's coming at the start of the patch, some stuff's coming on the actual Season 3 launch. Hopefully I explained it okay. I do like the fact that I can start my character progression from the start of 11.2. That's going to be really great, especially as someone that pretty much exclusively does delves and just like heroic raiding. I think I'm going to get a ton of updates in that first week, so going to be very, very busy. So let me know down below your thoughts on Season 3 of The War Within, the final season of The War Within, might I add. So this is going to be the final season before we get into the midnight pre-patch and then midnight launch. So that's kind of scary to say, but yeah, that is the truth. But of course, we'll have Legion Remix and things like that in between, but yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But guys, thank you very much for watching. If you liked this video, please do leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to support the channel outside of YouTube, I'm also on Patreon, and I'm on Twitter at MrGMYT, and I have a partner Discord channel as well. And also, I am streaming on twitch.tv/MrGM. If you want to see me stream World of Warcraft, 11.2 launch, Season 3 launch, all of that good stuff, over on twitch.tv/MrGM. And with that, guys, I'll see you next time.